Hi guys, my name is Kirsha. Um, my partner and I currently live in a Class A 30-foot RV. We've chosen this lifestyle pretty much because we were tired of renting. We really wanted to get a house. So we made the choice to move out of the house we were renting a room in San Francisco and moved into our RV. Originally, we got the RV because I was going to dental hygiene school and I was really struggling doing the commute back and forth between San Francisco and San Jose every day. And then when I got into it, my grades did so much better once I was living in the RV, and I was able to just finish dental hygiene school and start my career, which was amazing. And I couldn't have done it without living in an RV. And then for a little while, we just parked the RV. We were still living in San Francisco. And then we finally decided, why are we wasting all of our money when we have this RV? And moved into it full time, starting February 1st was our first day in it of 2020. So we haven't been in it very long. We were saving money to buy a house, and then with all the craziness that's going on in the world with the pandemic, it's just become our way of life. We had been residing in San Francisco in the RV, but because our jobs closed down, we decided to come out to my parents' house, and we've been parked here since. So that was probably about 3 weeks ago. March 16th was our last day, both of our last days at work. And then we are hoping to go back at the end of April, but we'll see how that goes. I'm just going to answer some questions. So let's see. So in light of the pandemic, we think that the benefits were really that we aren't paying rent. So that would, it's hard enough not working and having to pay bills, but then on top of that, having to come up with a rent that would have been so hard for us. We would not have been able to stay in the house that we were renting in. San Francisco is not a cheap place to live. It's difficult for anybody to live in. And we have pretty good careers, dental hygiene, and then a sheet metal union worker. And we were realizing we were struggling, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. If we wanted to buy a house in the Bay Area, we couldn't. And sadly, we have to look outside of the Bay Area because of it. So I think with the pandemic that's going on, we had the benefit of not having to pay astronomical rent prices and just continue paying basic bills. And because we were saving for a house on top of that, we feel like we're pretty lucky we don't have, I'm not saying we don't have stress, but we don't have as much stress as we feel like we would have being in the house that we were renting in. We were able to kind of split up our savings to keep us floating until we're both back to work, which is nice. Let's see. So, job suspension, as far as it impacting our lives, I mean, I feel like no matter who you are, having a job suspension is a stressful situation unless you've just got millions of dollars floating around somewhere. I feel like for us, our jobs are suspended, but we have our home and what more could we really ask for? We have each other in our home, and we have it way better than most people could or should or do have it currently. We have everything we need in a 30-foot space, and it can get stressful because it's such tight quarters, but I wouldn't give it up now that we're in it. It's just a blessing to be here in this RV because, you know, our job suspension, even though it impacts us and our bills, it would be way worse, which I already mentioned. As far as people living in their cars in San Francisco, I think that a lot of people just misunderstand people who are living in their vehicles, and that if you take a look at who the people are that are living in these vehicles, they're everyday people who either can't pay for the prices of San Francisco housing, or, you know, don't want to because they're just insane housing prices. There's no reason that the average person shouldn't be able to live in a house or an apartment on their own in the city, but you can't unless you have multiple people or families and you're putting all that you earn into your housing, which can be really stressful. Do you think that they're vulnerable or have an advantage? Well, with the pandemic, I think that people who are in their vehicles or RVs, they have a disadvantage and an advantage. I mean, yeah, you have a little bit more of the elements. You can't always keep more stuff on stock. Like, it's hard to keep massive amounts of food or toilet paper or things like that in such a small space. But as far as being able to get up and move, I feel like RV dwellers or car dwellers have a better advantage because they can just decide, oh, there's a pandemic, the whole city's shutting down, we're going to leave before we get shut down. And for us, that was a big thing. When the shutdowns happened, we literally left the night before everything shut down. And it was a huge advantage, especially to come out to family. If we hadn't had that option, we probably would have gone to like some sort of BLM land or like a park or something just to get away from the city, because then you're less exposed to people. But I definitely think that we have an advantage because we were able to leave, and we're here with loved ones, which is really great because it kind of puts us at ease a little bit more. And we just kind of get to be in our house, but then also near family, which is nice. Let's see. So as far as our future plans go, we figured out when the pandemic started that obviously our housing plans were going to be put on hold. We aren't going to buy the house right away because most of our savings is just sitting, waiting if we need it. And then we decided that since we were going to be here longer, we were going to do a few repairs. We replaced the batteries for the solar that we have on the RV. We replaced the bed because we both hated the Sleep Number bed that the RV came with. So we replaced it. So we've spent a little extra money just fixing up the space because we've decided we're going to stay in it longer. And then hopefully as time goes by, we'll, start back to work, we'll get savings going again, and eventually we'll buy a house and move into a house. That's our end goal. We want to have a house and have some place to have animals, hang out with kids, things like that. Our end goal would be that. But for now, we're just kind of, living in this situation. We enjoy the RV. It's cozy. It's nice. Your advantages would pretty much just be like you can save more money. You can take your home with you. Your disadvantages would probably be you get some weird looks from people. They're like, oh, you are an RV dweller. And that's okay. Because they just don't understand. And we just want to go through life, not stealing from people or being crazy. We just want to like clean up after ourselves and have a nice house, or house as they put it. Some place nice that we can go and feel safe in, and rest and feel recuperated and for the next morning, and then go to work and do it all over again. Most of the time, people spend their days at work more hours than they stay at home. At least that's us. We are at work most of the time, and kind of just use our space at home to sleep and eat and chill. I think that was what made it so frustrating, was we were spending thousands of dollars to rent someplace that we literally just slept at and sometimes ate at. And here in our RV, we feel safe. We feel like we can just chill, cook some food if we need to. The space that we have is really nice. All right, so I'm going to give you kind of an idea of how we live in the RV during the week. So when we can't run the generator all the time, let's say it's just too late, we get back, we don't want to bother people, we will just use battery powered lights. And when we do that, let me see if I can turn this around. So I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of how we deal with, at night, if we don't want to run the generator, we have battery powered lights. This is the restroom. It's kind of nice having a separate restroom from the shower area. So the shower area is kind of dark if you don't have all the lights going. And then in the bedroom area, we have battery powered lights. And this is kind of what it looks like at night. If we had the generator running, we could turn on the overhead lights, and then it kind of gives us a little more light in the bedroom. So this is the bedroom, and if you could just imagine, this bed right here closes all the way in to the drawers. So when the bed is closed, we don't have access to anything in those drawers or under the bed. Those are just storage for things that we would need extra. With the pandemic, you never know, you might just need some toilet paper saved in there. For in the closet space, we kind of keep work clothes, pants and things, and then we also have drawers up top. For our particular unit, I feel like our rig has a lot of extra space in it for storage, which is nice. It's a little complicated trying to find spots for every single thing that we would use. Right now, because of the pandemic and being at my parents' house, we're able to slide the pop-outs out and have this extra space so I can actually walk around the bed. And then we have like laundry storage and stuff underneath this little cabinet. When we close this slide out and the bed comes in, that's pretty much all we do, is just we put laundry under there, and shoes that are underneath the laundry. luckily for us, we have a lot of space. Not everybody gets the separate shower for their RVs or even for vans. We luckily have it, and then, you know, extra lighting above if we need it. But usually we stick to the battery powered lights. Let's see. Okay, so coming down the hallway, you have your shower on one side, the bathroom door on the other side. We're gonna come on out here. So we mainly keep storage stuff on the wall in the bathroom, or on the door of the bathroom. We keep storage stuff. Then we have the fridge and freezer right over here, but mainly storage stuff. And let's see. So that's how it looks with the normal ceiling light on, but usually we keep that off. Unless, excuse my dishes, I'm sorry, that's probably not something you want to see. But this is kind of the couch, the living room area. Now this is a lot bigger than what we would normally have it set at. We would normally have the slide out in, and you can kind of see there's a line on the floor where the carpet looks a little more tattered, and that's where the line for the couch comes in, because we're constantly walking across that one portion, but underneath the couch we're not walking across that portion. So right now, though, this would be how it would look at night when we're living in the city. And then if we had the generator on, we would have the full lights on, and there would be less space. So pretty much if I were to sit down on the couch when we're in the city, and forgive the storage that we have going on underneath, I could reach and put my feet on the seat of the dining area when the couch is in. So right now we're kind of in this luxury spot where we have more room, and it's kind of nice to get away and be able to do that, just have the space. And so the couch and the dinette both pull out into beds if we needed them, but we have the queen in the back that we use normally. We put the curtains up so that it just stays a little warmer during the winter, and then we also have an insulation bubble foam like this that's on the door, and that helps cut down on the heat and the cold during different temperatures. When we're in the city, and even when we're out here at my parents' down in the stairwell, if we have like extra garbage, I will put it down in the stairwell, and then at night I cover it with an older towel, and that just helps insulate to keep it warmer in here, or cooler depending. And then we also keep our recycling separate from our garbage. And this little guy over here is our little camper. We enjoy little toys. Because we're at my parents' right now, we have extra things in here, like an ice cream maker, because I like to make ice cream for my nieces and nephews, and they pretty much all live on the same property. So 7 nieces and 7 nephews, and they all enjoy ice cream. So there's that. And then we are preparing for Easter Sunday, and my family's big on Easter Sunday, so I have a bunch of candy to give to children. We're pretty lucky in our rig. We have propane stove with the oven and the stovetop. So we make, biscuits, cookies, pretty much anything you can think of. I've baked homemade bread in the oven. It takes a little bit longer than the regular ovens do to cook things, but it's pretty good. I enjoy it. I like to bake and cook for people. And then, this little cover comes up so you can cook for people on the stovetop. We also have the convection oven that came with the RV, and we love it. I do have a cluster of things over in the corner, the Instapot, and then a mixer, a bunch of other stuff. Right now I'm not using the mixer and the Instapot as much as I am the stovetop, so we kind of keep it over in the corner. I guess I should show you when this slides in. We lose up to about here, so, well, maybe a little bit right around here. So we lose that space, and so things just kind of get stored over in that corner. And we don't have access to this drawer, so we don't really keep anything in it because we can't really access it. The underneath the sink has some storage. We keep, the extra paper towels that everybody's been hoarding. And pretty much just kind of try to be aware of the fact that when the slide out is in, we can't reach everything like we would when the slide out would be out. So when you saw the curtains that were hanging in the living room, we realized that the light was getting out and we wanted to be a little less obvious, so we put up curtains, and we realized in putting up the curtains in between the living space and the driver area that it also cut down on the cold. So it was like killing two birds with one stone and we didn't even really think about it until after we put them up. So as far as what we keep in the driving area, most of the time if we're riding together, Terry will ride on seated on the couch or in the dining area, and I'll drive, or vice versa. And we will keep our extra bottled water or things that we would kind of almost keep in a cellar, because it stays nice and cool in the front of the cab. And so we kind of store our extra essential items in the passenger area, and then we keep the driver's side open. We tried to kind of deck out our RV as stealthy as possible, which is kind of like inner city camping, so that people, even though they pretty much know we're living in our RV, they aren't going to be like, oh, their lights are on. They're for sure living in the RV. And another thing, when I was showing you the front door, we also put a blanket up over the door, because even though we have that bubble, the silver bubble over the top of it, it doesn't block out all the light. So we have a blanket that kind of tucks into the side of the door, and that helps keep the cold out and the heat in. And then also people can't really see the light through the door anymore. We're pretty blessed. We have a lot of space with this RV, and we weren't really at first planning on both of us living in it, but for the amount of money that we could spend on it and what we wanted out of it, it was the perfect RV for us. We have a 75-gallon freshwater tank in the RV. We have, I believe it's 35 gallons of, sorry about that. We have about 35 gallons of what's considered black water, and roughly about the same for gray water. So gray water would be showering water or dishwater, any of the sink water. Black water would be from the toilet, all the stuff that nobody wants to talk about. And we realized in the first week that we could not live like we were living in the city, or like we do when we're out at my parents' house. When we're at my parents' house, we pretty much use the water however we want. We aren't hooked up to any sewer or water at my parents', but we're very close to the dumping site, and it's cheaper here. So in the Bay Area, we pay about $25 to dump and then fill fresh water. And out here, my parents live near a town called Lockford, and it's $20 to dump. And when we're out here, we can push it for about a week, but sometimes we have to dump a little bit sooner because we want to take that longer shower, or we don't necessarily want to take all the precautions of, oh, don't fill up the tank too quickly. And so we end up dumping more often than not when we are out here at my parents' house. I guess I'd say we probably spend between $80 and $100 to dump a month. And that was something that we budgeted in the beginning, because we kind of had an idea of what it would be. And so we just put that into our monthly budget and decided, okay, that's going to be, instead of rent, we're going to dump more. And when we're in the city, we're much more cautious of how much water we use. We want to make it last the entire week. And we both enjoy our showers, but we know that we need to shorten them up. So we take more military style showers during the week when we're in the Bay Area and working. Terry will shower at night. She's really good with the water. I'm not so good with the water. I like long, hot showers. She will take warm showers, and, you know, she doesn't have to take quite as long. She's got shorter hair than I do. So we kind of alternate, and we always have alternated. I enjoy taking showers in the morning. I mean, I would take showers in the night too. I kind of just rinse off a tiny bit, wipe my, hair and face at night, but don't really use a lot of water. But then I'll shower in the morning to get ready for work, because even if I am living in an RV, I don't want to go to work and smell like I'm living in an RV or look like I'm living in an RV, because I'm a professional and I want to look professional when I go to work. Terry works in construction, so she sweats. So she wants to take a shower when she gets home. And, she does, and she's clean for the next day, and it's perfect. That works for us. If we feel like we need a longer shower and we are in the Bay Area, we do have Planet Fitness memberships, and we go in and we'll take a longer shower. Right now, Planet Fitness is closed due to the coronavirus, and so we're just pretty much staying in the RV for all of our showering needs. It makes it more convenient to be out close to a dumping site. And, we'll just roll with the punches when it comes to all that. I think that for us, the most difficult thing was not using as much regular power, but using rechargeable batteries and lights that we can replace batteries in, or because my work will allow me to take rechargeable things in and charge them while I'm working during the day. And so for us, we wanted to be able to just recharge stuff during the morning or afternoon while we were at work, instead of always just pulling battery power off of the entire rig that we have. It took getting used to not turning all of the lights on at once. At home, people just turn on the lights and they don't think about, oh, what's my battery doing? Am I gonna, is the heater gonna turn off in the middle of the night? And, you're gonna be freezing when you wake up. A lot of people don't think about it. But because we are in a situation where we need to think about it, we like to have a lot of light. We like to have the options of just making sure that everything that we do is going to save a little bit more battery power for the entire rig. We have one solar panel on the roof. I believe it's 100 watt, and we have two 12-volt batteries. So that's just for the power that runs the entire rig, not including the regular battery that we have that is hooked up to what's considered the chassis or the engine. And so they're separate batteries. They do not attach to each other. The only time that you can kind of mix the two is if your chassis battery were to be dead and your rig would not start, and there's a button in the front that you can push and it will pull power from the solar batteries, but it won't go back and forth. So if you're dying in your solar batteries, your chassis battery is not going to put energy into those batteries. So we just have to be careful not to overdo it. We do have a generator on this unit, but the generator's had some issues since we've gotten the rig, and so we try not to use it too much. We do use it a lot, but we try to be aware of the fact that we're using it and that we need to have some maintenance done to it. So we're trying to pull less power off of the batteries and just kind of let them chill out a little bit. From what we were told by a few of the RV specialists that we've been to, it's a good idea to kind of give the rig a rest for a while and have the time to turn all of the power off to the back of the rig and let those just recharge and relax. So we're going to have to possibly take a trip to Idaho during the quarantine due to a death in the family. And when we're gone, we're not going to leave anything in here. We're going to take the freezer and the refrigerator stuff out and either take it with us or leave it with my family. And we're going to just have no power to the rig and let those batteries rest and recuperate and just refill the entire time we're gone, which will be nice. So one thing I was going to make a note of that I believe I've forgotten to mention is with the water, the first week that we lived in the RV, we filled up our gray water tank almost in the middle of the week. And then the following week, we had to figure out, okay, how do we save on the water and not basically overextend the amount that we use during the week. So we came up with a couple ideas. We have a collapsible dish drainer and a plastic container. So the plastic container goes into the sink in the bathroom, and when we wash our hands, we save the water, and then when we use the restroom, we will flush it down the toilet so that we're not using as much fresh water in the toilet. It's kind of like a second saving of water. And then the same goes with the sink water. We save it in the tub or in the collapsible dish drainer. And then there's a little switch at the bottom that we can flip the switch and it will drain into the toilet we've also saved it into bottles and then transferred it from the bottle into the toilet when we needed to use it. So that was how we ended up saving more water and not wasting it all. Trying to think of anything else that you guys might need or be curious about. I think I've answered most of it. And I guess it's just like everybody stay safe out there. That's my main thing. Everybody stay safe. Whether you celebrate Passover or Easter, I hope you have a good holiday this next week. By the time you guys are watching this holiday will be over, but still enjoy. And I hope that everybody just stays healthy. And as far as the virus goes, I know as soon as we first started hearing that people were buying toilet paper and water, like those are two of the things that we use. Like we use a lot of bottled water. We pretty much use bottled water for everything as far as cooking and, obviously drinking water. Like we just use bottled water for everything. So when I heard the very first weekend that, everybody was getting sick and they were trying to tell everybody to stay home and have an extra store of water and toilet paper, I said, people are going crazy, Terry. We should probably go down and find some RV toilet paper, because as soon as the regular toilet paper is gone, people are going to go after the RV toilet paper too. And then if we don't have fresh water, what are we going to drink? So pretty much the first weekend that everything started happening with the virus and the pandemic beginning, we went out and drove from San Francisco down, I think it was to Mountain View, and we went to Walmart and we found a couple of containers of RV toilet paper, or bags of it. I think I want to say we got 30 something rolls of RV toilet paper, and we got 2 large cases of water because we use it all the time. So in the beginning of this, we started off with that, and then we also, I think it was 6 gallon jugs of water was what we got. And we've pretty much gone through it, but I think that people are sort of calming down enough, and because of where we're staying, it's been easy for us to find things like water and toilet paper. We know the schedule for the store that is closest to my parents' house. It's 5 minutes away, but we're out in the country, so not quite as many people know the schedule of the store and can get there right away because it is in the country. So as soon as they've been delivering, we're like, okay, does anybody in the family need anything? Let's go, let's pick it up and stay safe, So, like I said before, all the craziness started and people were just taking everything off the shelves. We had already gone and gotten what we needed for a few weeks of staying in the RV without having to have those extra things. We figured that the hand sanitizer was going to go, so we stocked up on aloe and alcohol because we can just make our own. When we found out that masks were going, we had masks already. I'm asthmatic, so we already had the N95, and then cloth masks as well. And Terry is the MacGyver of this relationship, and she took old beanies and paracord and has been making masks out of them. And like I said, MacGyver, she's just MacGyver. She makes all the cool things. She can make stuff out of nothing, and I think that's what makes it work so well, is because if something goes wrong and I can't fix it, she can usually fix it. And if I was stuck in an RV with anybody else, I don't think I could stand it because I would not know how to deal with anybody else living in such a small space. What's nice is that we kind of complement each other. So on the things that I'll do, she won't do, and the things that she will do, I don't really want to do. She's better at doing the dishes here because I use more water. But for the most part, I probably do the majority of the cooking. So it kind of works out. I'll cook, she'll do dishes. And I think with that symbiotic type of relationship going on, like we mesh just well enough that it all works out perfect. And I appreciate it. And I'm very thankful to have somebody like that stuck in an RV with me, especially during a pandemic. Because a lot of people are like, oh, we can't stand each other right now. But we're okay. We haven't killed each other yet, which is nice.